Vehicle and asset finance from ABSA. Today, tomorrow, together.
Hosts Toyota will be on a mission in the production vehicle category on the Toyota Dealer 400, the penultimate round of the ABSA Off-Road Championship in Mpumalanga next weekend. At the start of the season, if you'd offered Toyota teams a win on one or two events, they would unanimously have chosen the Toyota 1000 Desert Race or the Leidenburg-based event backed by the Toyota Dealer Network. Apart from being desperate for a win this season, and quite frankly, what better event to chalk that up, Toyota Cruise and their Ford counterparts will be aiming at ending Nissan's run of 6 successive wins. The racing has been hard all season long, but it's a fait accompli. The overall and Premier Super Production Class Championships are going to be won by a Nissan crew. But the Toyota Dealer 400 and the Ford Carnival City 400 give Toyota and Ford the opportunity to win back just a little pride in the process. On the driver's side, Duncan Vos in a Nissan Navara leads his teammates Hannes Grobler and Ivar Tollefsen in both the overall and SP class championships. Vos has comfortable margins over the veteran Grobler, but still has to drop a compulsory events points, and that throws the issue wide open. Where the co-drivers are concerned, Francois Jordan, who calls alongside Grobler, leads Ralph Pitchford, and Quinn Evans, who partner Vos and Tollefsen respectively. Pitchford's situation is the result of missing 2 events through overseas commitments, and here too the situation is very fluid. Evans, unfortunately though, will miss the Toyota Dealer 400 after breaking a leg in a motorcycle accident. Nissan will also be bolstered by the return to action of Mark Corbett and Rudy Balzar. They missed the last event because of business commitments on Corbett's side, and they are potential winners. Pressure among the Nissan crews could well turn into an advantage for the Toyota and Ford crews. Freed from championship bonds, they will be able to ignore tactical considerations and simply go on the attack from the very outset. Toyota hopes will be pinned mainly on the Castrol Toyota Hilux pair of Mark Grenier and Chris Birkin, as well as Bevan Bertelt and Robin Houghton. Grenier and Birkin have twice come close this season, while Bertelt and Houghton bounce back to form on the Ford Motorrad 400. Backup for them will come from Chris Visser and Jaapie Baardnorst in a third Castrol Toyota entry, and Hichu and Jaap de Bruin in the Michelin Excel Toyota Hilux. All the Toyota crews have the pace to match the Nissans, and the motivation to win a home event could be what is needed to spark a big Toyota win. Ford Racing's challenge will again be spearheaded by former South African champions Neil Woolridge and Kenny Schulthammer. They are wily old campaigners who can never be written off, while Brandon Harkis with John Moore are capable of upsetting the off-road apple cart. Kobus van Tonda and Rian Guapa and Mark Ferguson with Craig West give Ford extra strings to their bow. Van Tonda and Guapa have been improving with every outing in the ex-factory Unifreight Ranger, while Ferguson and West have taken over the ex-Manfred Schroeder Ford Ranger. While sentiment will certainly be on Toyota's side, along with the law of averages, the smart money might well be on Nissan, maintaining an unbeaten record. The Class D Championship has turned into a dogfight with half a dozen challengers in both the driver and co-driver title races, separated by just 10 points. Added interest is provided by the fact that Nissan, Toyota and Land Rover are all involved in the scrap. Kutsia Labuschagne in the Raceonics Nissan Hardbody leads the Drivers' Championship by a single point from Ramon Besaidnout in a Toyota Hilux. With Yuri Duplessis in the first BB Auto Nissan Hardbody, Harold Kuhn in the Landy, Cliff Weichelt's Bosel Toyota Hilux, and Arnold du Plessis in the second BB Auto Nissan Hardbody, all within striking distance. It's much the same in the co-driver stakes, where Stefan Locke leads Andre du Plessis, Tian Kun, Louis Weichelt, Johan Knox and Johan Gerber, who lost ground when he missed the Sun City 400. Picking a winner from Labuschagne and Gerber and Besaidnout and Locke, the Weichelts, the Kuns, Yuri and Andre du Plessis and Arnold du Plessis and Johan Knox requires a pin and a piece of paper, although the Weichelts will be full of confidence after a win on the Ford Motorrad 400. Brothers Henry and Maurice Matten in the Ryobi Nissan Hardbody also come into the picture. They've won twice, but their legendary reliability has been missing this season. There is, however, one certainty about the Class D battle. It's going to be close and loaded with huge interest. Pretty much the same scenario exists in Class E. Here, however, victory is a must for Toyota Cruise, who are chasing the Ford Ranger of Jack Peckham and Lucio Santoro in the championship stakes. George and Sharon Barkhuizen's Roacon Toyota Hilux, Jannie Visser and Joks Leroux in their Team Barberspun Toyota Hilux, and Brian Martin and Oki Fourie in a Castrol Toyota Hilux have all lost ground recently and need late charges to put pressure on Peckham, who still has to drop an event as well. Brothers Mark and Stuart Moffat in their Bosel Toyota Hilux and Thomas Rundle and Brian Roberts with the Barden Tyre Services Nissan Hardbody, as well as Cord van Os with Arjen Kuipers in a Ford Ranger, are indeed the danger men. Rundle and Roberts in particular could prove to be a thorn in Ford and Toyota's flesh. For Toyota's multi-talented Mark Cronje, there is a daytime job too. He's the owner of a kitchen outfitters company, Easy Life Kitchens in Roodepoort. We wanted to know how much does it take from his racing life.
Well, I'd probably say a heck of a lot. You know, my business is really the kitchen industry. It has been for quite some time now, and it's been growing, you know, ever since I've taken it over. And yeah, we basically involved with the kitchen business, making cupboards, manufacturing, installations, design. You know, client will come to us with some new innovative ideas, and we'll have to put them in practice and get them right. And that's kind of how, you know, I do in my work hours. And obviously we've got the gym and my water sports, which I quite enjoy. So that's, you know, on a day-to-day basis what I do for a living and what I enjoy.
And what about he and his brothers racing? How did it all start?
Well, we've been racing all our lives. You know, we've been a strong racing family. We grew up next to the track and eventually on the track. You know, started at the age of 11 in karts, and then we moved on to, you know, circuit racing with Toyota, and progressed ever since, and basically where we are today. My brother is exactly the same sort of fielding, you know, walking alongside the track, involved with Honda at one stage, and today, yeah, you know, he's moved on to greener pastures.
And why the dangerous and tough pursuit of motorsport? What has it actually taught the young Cronje?
Well, I find motorsport has taught me a heck of a lot in terms of business. You have to be very disciplined in motorsport. You have to be very focused, and I find the principles are exactly the same in business. You know, yes, business can be fun, but at the end of the day, if you're not focused and disciplined, you don't achieve the goals that you set out for yourself. And at the end of the day, it gets quite tricky. You know, in business, it's a ruthless world out there. If you've got to make it for yourself, you know, you really got to get out there and do it for yourself. Otherwise, nobody's waiting for you. Life doesn't owe you anything.
Indeed, there have been many highlights along the way. What are his most memorable?
Well, my highlight in my career is definitely winning my World Championship kart event, the Rotax World Finals, and in the same year winning the off-road Class E Championship. And you know, for me in 1 year, that's been quite a highlight. Second to that, I'd probably say is recently moving into the rally field and performing from word go, bringing results for Toyota from word go. And to me, it's been a great achievement.
Why does he pursue two different forms of the game, rallying as well as the off-roading?
Well, basically the reasoning is, you know, in motorsport in South Africa is a very, very small spectrum. And if you don't diversify, you basically just fall by the wayside. And Toyota's involvement in off-road and in rallying has been quite substantial over the years. Where with circuit racing, you know, they've shrunk down quite a bit. So I needed to diversify myself, and that's really where I wanted to be. My career really was leaning towards motorsport, and it still is. And that's ultimately where I want to be. So you have to diversify if you want to stay alive in motorsport.
The Japanese motoring giant has been instrumental in his motorsport maturity.
Loyalty to Toyota is, I mean, it's been my life, really. Toyota's been my life, and I've grown with them. I've grown up with them, alongside with Castrol. So, you know, they introduced me into circuit racing and progressed from there. And yeah, I mean, it's speechless, really. I can't tell you, they've done a heck of a lot for me. And that's where I've produced my results.
He must surely have an ultimate goal in local motorsport. What is it?
My ultimate goal really in motorsport is to become national champion in the near future in rallying. That would be my ultimate goal. And obviously to win the off-road championship. I've been at it for a little while now, and I really think it's time to start producing the results. I do believe that we can produce the results once we get our ducks in a row and make sure that the vehicle is 100%, I'm 100% up to scratch. I really do think that yeah, we can get there.
And more power to his sails. Mark Grenier and his crew can indeed take a giant leap in that regard if they halt Nissan's half a dozen in a row. Voss and Pitchford lead, but only by 23 points from Krobler and Jordan. The battle lines have been cast.
Vehicle and asset finance from ABSA. Going the extra mile to get you finance from ABSA. Going the extra mile to get you financed.
The remaining special vehicle championships up for grabs could well be settled at the Toyota Dealer 400 in Mpumalanga, the penultimate event on the ABSA Off-Road Championship calendar. The Class B Championship is dried and dusted with Hendrik and Jan Kraai in their Regent Racing bat, having scored 5 wins in 6 outings this season. Where the overall and Class A and Class S championships are concerned, 2 crews could all but settle the title issues on the Leidenburg event. In the overall and Class A battles, the father and son pairing of Nick and Ryan Harper in their big Atlas Copco bat are clear of their closest challengers, Evan Hutchison and Akim Bergman in the Motorite bat. Lower down the order, veterans Richard Schilling and Chris Davies in their Plastotech Aceco are within touching distance of wrapping up matters in Class S. The Harpers are in a solid position after a series of workmanlike performances, but with 5 different winners in 6 events this season, anything could happen in a race where half a dozen and more crews are in with a big chance. One can expect the Harpers to adopt an approach that is designed to purely protect their championship interests. They are good at that sort of thing, and it's up to Hutchison and Bergman, the only double winners this season, to take the power play away from the Harpers. While a win or a podium finish is a must for Hutchison and Bergman, they will also be looking for help from teammates Alfie Cox and Hini ter Steege. The outgoing champions are out of the title equation, and Hutchison and Bergman will be looking for them to run interference. And there could also be interference from a string of other crews. Shamir Varayawa and Siegfried Rousseau's Total Porter is due a win. Colin Matthews with Alan Smith and the Century Property Developments bat have shown impressive form of late. And Clint Gibson and Gary Campbell in the Absolute bat are also knocking on the door. Nardis Alberts and Colin Hunter in their Rapsa bat are among the winners this season, although Alberts will be with stand-in co Henry Costain for this event, while Mike Whitehouse and Matthew Carlson in the Regent Racing bat are improving with every outing. With Gary Bertolt and Jeff Minnett in an Atlas Copco Porter also due. Naim Mosaji and Rayan Bodhanya have also had their moments in the Total Gymco. And the Silwall brothers Herman and Karl Heinz are solid performers in the Silwall Transport Zarco entries. The championship status quo dictates an interesting event. A surprise result and a twist to the tail could also be on the cards. Although the Cry father and son combination have already wrapped up the Class B title, they won't be giving away wins on a plate. Their approach, however, may lack the intensity of previous outings, and hard done by challenges may see some light at the end of what has otherwise been a very dark tunnel. Marcus Taylor and Derek Keith in the JRE are the only other Class B winners this season and could find the route to their liking. While Louw de Bruin and Rudy Brits in a Rurikon bat are also on form. Bez Besaidnout and Johan de Bruin in an Adenko bat. And veteran Gil Null, partnered by Sandro Labuschagne in the Luke 8 Truggy, are separated by only 2 points in the championship. With Johan and Etienne Besaidnout in the second Adenko bat, only a further 3 points adrift. It will no doubt be tough up front there. The battle going on for the runners-up spot will be a cameo performance. Null and Labuschagne have consistency going for them, but that might not be enough in what will be a tightly contested class. One of the secrets of winning championships is to close the door on rival teams when the opportunity presents itself. Schilling and Davies have the experience to do just that, and it will be a surprise if they allow the Class S title chase to go down to the wire. As is the case in Class A, the onus is on arch rivals Nick Gosler and Richard Carolyn in the Kopanong Hotel Super Team Raceco to take the play away from Schilling and Davies. Glenn Gibson and Mark Whitehurst in the Absolute Aceco could give Schilling and Davies and Gosler with Carolyn a run for their money, but a surprise result appears unlikely. Whatever the case may be, the Harpers lead by 15 points from the Motorrad pairing, while Gibson and Brown are too far back to challenge at this stage. But anything can and probably will happen. As for the man in fourth place, Shamir Varayawa, it hasn't exactly been a cakewalk. The Total Motorsport driver has had a season in which things just haven't quite gone according to plan. He and co-driver Siegfried Rousseau have been there or thereabouts, but a victory has eluded the man who makes a living from selling one of the most popular biscuit brands in the country. But Varayawa has a dark secret. He's a draftsman, quite a long way around to get to off-road racing, in other words.
Right now, I'm in the biscuit industry. The family owns a biscuit factory. We manufacture biscuits, value-added products and bulk biscuits. And before that, I'm actually a draftsman, architectural draftsman and a mechanical draftsman. And I had to jump into the business because of my late dad. And I've been here ever since, trying to innovate and grow the business. And yeah, it's been working for us.
It's a taxing business with an immense amount of pressure. Probably from there his love for racing, which is exactly the same thing.
The whole family involvement, all the families involved in racing. Off-road racing is a family sport, as you know. We go to the races. I mean, we've got cousins, little young ones coming to support us. We've got old guys supporting us, and yeah, it's a family sport. We've got from my family personally, we have four racing cars in off-road. When we started off, I was just myself or my father, and yeah, today we have four guys racing, 4 different cars, 3 in Class A, 1 in Class S, and so you can see the family involvement is quite good in off-road.
And the whole family does indeed get involved. Just listen. But how did it all start for the young Varayawa?
The love for motorsport started, well, I can say I was born in the sport because my late father, as my little boy comes to the race, that's how I used to go to the race. I think he started in 1979 or 78, somewhere around there, when they used to race the Total Trans-Kalahari in Botswana. And that's where it started, and ever since then I've been a little boy going to races, watching all the great racing drivers, like I'll give you some of the names. Paddy Driver, for one, Brendan's father, Arthur Harkes, was one of them. And that's how we got involved in the sport. And the first opportunity I got to navigate for my father at the age of 16, I jumped into the seat and navigated for 2 years. The first opportunity I got to drive at the age of 18, I took that opportunity, and I ended up winning the first race I ever drove in, which was I think the Klerksdorp 200. So that was one of the highlights of my racing careers. From then on, I won the overall national championship at age 23. So it's been going great. Thanks to Total for the last 3 years, which have seen my potential and basically supported me and sponsored me in this off-road game.
But having grown up in the game and knowing it as well as he has the off-road scene changed a lot over the years?
When I won the championship in 2000 with Bux Carolyn as the navigator, I think from 2000 to now the game is really upped. The guys are driving ridiculous paces, you know. And yeah, you have to be on the gas all the time to be in front. In 2000, you know, you could just nurse the car and be consistent, and you'll get a finish and win. Today, if you want to win, you have to go full out. You know, there's no being consistent. You have to be at full pace all the time, especially in the special vehicles. You got guys like Motorride, you got Gary, you got Nick Harper. To be in front all the time, you gotta run at good pace.
Total have also, together with Shamir and his team, taken to introducing the sport to the far-flung parts of Southern Africa. Communities throughout areas which may never have seen sleek, mean racing machines such as these are now exposed to it. And who knows, perhaps there is a future national champion drawing one of these today, only to race it a bit later in life.
Yeah, with Total, we've before each race, we take the transporter with the car and the small, as you can say, promo car. We take that out to the schools, various schools in different areas. We try and create brand awareness. We even try and let the kids know about off-road racing, the mechanical side of it, the engineering side of it, and try and get them more involved in the sport. We also have competitions for children at different races. You know, like example, we had kiddies draw off-road cars, the Total car that we drive in, and the best one wins the prize, you know. And it's been going great, and yeah, that's a lot of community work we do, and I think for Total and ourselves, it's quite good.
How has the 2007 series been for the Total team?
Before the last race, we were second on the championship. We had a bit of a problem in the last race, so we were forced to retire, and I think it dropped us back to fourth, if I'm not mistaken. And the next two races, we decided just to get back into the top three. Obviously not first, that's impossible, so we'll try and get back to second or third, hopefully. And we're not going to go for any wins now, we're just going to try and get more points and hopefully finish in the top three.
When the curtain comes down on 07, what are the plans for a new year, and are there moves afoot to return to the US of A?
The season's coming to an end, yeah. The future plans is next year, obviously there's different plans. The planning is that we're going to try and run this car in the local series, which is in South Africa, and the plans is to run a score series in America, hopefully about 4 races next year. Provided it doesn't clash or coincide with our calendar, we'll definitely be racing more overseas. And we've done that before. I think 2 years ago with the help of Total, we've raced in Las Vegas in Prim, and I think more international experience would do good.
And there's no doubt that Varayawa will be bringing it back and making it count here on home soil. Documentation and scrutineering will take place on November the 2nd at race headquarters at Lydenburg Toyota. The 40-kilometer prologue to determine start positions for the race proper the next day will be run from 1 o'clock with the start and finish at the Leidenberg Rugby Club. The race will be run over 3 loops with a designated service point at the club. Until then, you keep it on the road, we'll keep it off-road.
That